Welcome to Social Work Sunday Tea. I am Shakia Houston. It's a great day to be alive and well. It is November 21st, 2021. Yeah, November 21st, 2021. Hey, make sure you like, subscribe, make sure you tag somebody, make sure you share. It's going to be a great discussion. Today we have a special guest, Dr. S. Dr. S, thank you so much for getting on this live on Social Work Sunday Tea. If you'd like to introduce yourself to everybody, yeah, greatly appreciate it.
Of course, of course. Thank you for having me. Social work team. My name is Dr. Randy Sconyers. I go by the name of Dr. S. I'm a doctor of social work, a licensed clinical social worker here in New Jersey. I'm also licensed in Florida as well. And I'm a mental health therapist, educator, creative, someone who just enjoys helping people overcome mental health challenges and help them heal and learn and grow at the end of the day. So thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to a great talk today. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you so much for saying yes. I really appreciate it. What made you get into this field of social work and mental health, all that good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, just like a lot of people, it's one of those things where you get into the field that sort of is aligned with who you are to begin with. So, I've always been like a helping person, someone who's always like listened to people and help people. So, many years ago, I want to say over 20 years now, I got started in the field just as like a mentor, like a big brother. In a program that's out here in New Jersey. I forgot to tell people that I'm located in New Jersey, and I really just started to really take a liking into like the following my purpose in terms of helping young people. And it started, like I said, as a big brother mentor, and then I just continued to progress in the field and wanted to learn more in terms of how I could help young
Yeah.
people. And it was really like a case out here. We have, like, I'm sure like where you're located, every state has it, like a division of children and family services where they
Yeah.
investigate abuse cases and neglect cases. So I was doing music at the time. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I was big into hip hop, and
Okay.
I still am. And something that came across my screen about some kids that were being neglected here in New Jersey, and I was a young man that just was like, what can I do to help our young people? Like, I really want to be able to protect that vulnerable population. And so I kind of like followed my path and followed my purpose. And, 20 years later today, I'm still doing what I love and enjoy, as a therapist and clinician. So, that's
Wow.
just a little backstory.
Wow. Thank you so much for serving the people, especially in Jersey, just all the way around.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, it's definitely needed, especially black men.
Hmm.
They don't see black men, not a lot, black
Hmm.
men in social work, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty dope. Like, and I think it's like like I always say, it's for the people, it's for the culture. Like, I didn't want to do this anyway. I just wanted to be a police officer, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then
Hmm.
after I had my daughter, I was like, no,
Yep.
no,
Yep.
no, 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 no.
Yeah.
I knew I had purpose. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
So yeah, we can get started. Our topic today is mental health and a young adult. I'll say youth,
Hmm.
our
Hmm.
young
Hmm.
adults. So why is mental health so important for our young adults?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think that and that's a population, believe it or not, that I think sometimes we often miss because, we pay attention to our little ones and our young kids, and then obviously when you get into adulthood, everybody has these expectations and things for you, but there's a population or age in between that's often that we often miss, right? So mental health for young adults is critical because you're dealing with so often, and we'll get into it, I'm sure, like things from your childhood, but at the same time you have these expectations of what you should be doing as an adult. So then you have this pressure that mounts from both sides, and you kind of get bunched in the middle. So mental health for our young people is critical because those what you deal with or don't deal with or don't resolve can certainly carry with you into adulthood. And that's when we see a lot of adults have more challenges because of unresolved issues that happen or that they didn't get a chance to address in the young adulthood. So thinking about things in terms of their own childhoods and growing up, and then you go through school, and then
Yeah.
then when you get out of school, if you graduate or if you don't, think about those pressures that you have to deal with. So it's really about how it impacts their functioning in so many areas. You're talking about relationships, you're talking about just their interpersonal struggles and challenges and their self-esteem and self-concept, and in so many ways in terms of developing into healthy adults. A big part of that obviously is what happens in young adulthood at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. I can see as far as looking back on when I was around that age, 18 to 24, I was trying to figure things out. That's the
Hmm.
period like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do this or,
And a
I
lot of
wasn't
times you have no idea, right?
no
You're
idea.
not
You don't even know
sure
who you are really, right?
exactly,
You're not even
exactly,
sure of yourself,
correct.
and I know for me, I had a good support system, but it's like, yeah, they rah-rah me on. I have
Hmm.
cheerleaders, but I still was like, no, this is not it. Like
That's right.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And that's a critical time because it's kind of like I felt like as though it's either make me or break me.
Hmm.
you know, um, the structure. Okay, what am I gonna do?
Hmm.
I had a lot of people that maybe fall by the wayside.
Hmm.
Adverse childhood experiences because of what happened in childhood. The younger stages affected the adulthood, and I
Hmm.
think that most common, people get lost in the sauce.
That's right. That's
Majority
right.
of the time, especially in that stages, and also dealing with you know, just everyday life, trying to I'm trying to, even at 36, I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I have some type of foundation, but it's like,
Hmm.
oh, okay,
Hmm.
So I would say, how does mental health affect young adults? I think you kind of like covered that as well. How does it affect, um, as
Yeah.
far as,
In terms of their functioning, I mean, not to cut you off, I apologize.
go
I
ahead.
mean, so many different ways. I mean, you could initially just talk about, like, in terms of what you said, understanding who you are, trying to get an understanding of who you are, which
Yeah,
is extremely difficult because you have expectations that come from different places. Our society has certain expectations that they put on young people, or things that you're supposed to be doing during that phase or during that stage of life, and things you should be doing. And also, you're trying to discover what you want to do in who you are. But here you are, you have things from your childhood that you have been carrying for so many years up to this point of being a young adult. So it could affect you in so many ways. And then your relationships in terms of your partners and conflict resolution and being able to have healthy emotional regulation. And then a lot of times it's not having safe spaces to talk
mhm,
about the things that you're experiencing. So that's
yeah,
a whole nother issue as well. Like, who do I talk to about these
yeah,
things that I'm struggling with? So it affects our young adults in multiple ways. And I think this is a population. I'm so glad you're doing this particular show, because I think this is a conversation that needs to be had regarding, this particular demographic. I think we often sort of skip past it and move past it. And I'm glad we're able to talk about it in a little bit more detail today.
yeah. Because like as far as your cognition, you still developing. You
Hmm.
still developing all type of. You absorbing still like a
Hmm.
sponge.
Hmm.
And I think, like you said, it's the critical time, like where you transition. This is
Yeah.
the transitional stage,
Hmm.
and I feel as though, like you said, we get lost. Okay, oh, you young, you'll figure it out. It's like, like how and
Yeah.
in what way? And I think, you know we need to, sometimes stop and smell the roses when it comes to our young adults, because they need us more than ever, because I think the more society that place pressure on them, like to live up to a standard, and oh, you have to be, have this by this time, or
Mhm.
you need to be married by this time, or you need
Mhm.
to have a degree at this time. You know what I mean? It was a lot of pressure. Like I
Mhm.
I did a good 6 years, no, 5 years in college, trying to
Mhm.
figure it out. First of
Mhm.
all, I was partying. I was like trying to get everything out my system that
That's right.
I couldn't do with mom and dad,
Mhm.
and I think more so just trying to, like you said, trying to figure things out. And oh, I think I want to do this. Oh no, I want to change and do this.
Mhm.
And you kind of like become like, oh, it's like a puzzle. You just putting them
Mhm.
puzzle pieces together. So
Yeah.
I want to say, like, as far as mental health, where in that stage is where you can define, or you can, see that your health is failing. What are some of the things that um, I guess young adults they struggle with, and you see them struggling? What do you do? How can we
Mhm.
help?
Mhm. Yeah, the signs could be different for I mean, each young person could be going through something totally different. I mean, we could see during those times, obviously you're talking about if you want to get into different diagnoses, you could
Yeah.
definitely see levels of increased anxiety that as a result of the pressure that you're experiencing. It could be depression that young people start to feel because obviously there's a level of loneliness when you feel like you don't have anybody to talk to or you don't have anybody to share these challenges and struggles that you're dealing with. But we could also go back to trauma, which is another thing that we don't discuss enough because, again, when young people go through trauma, and even in general, our society sort of talks about trauma, but we don't get into it in detail, like in terms of really understanding the impact that it has on our lives. So think about things that happen. I know you mentioned like adverse childhood experiences, like the ACEs, those things that we go through as children
Hmm.
that we haven't been able to resolve or work through because maybe we never even stepped foot in the
Yeah.
in the therapy office before.
Yeah.
So you're talking about trauma, childhood experiences, you're talking about parental issues, conflicts that happen at that point in time that sort of just we carry into into this young adulthood. So we could see the gamut of experiences. We could see like I said, anxiety increase, depression increase, trauma continues. We could see anger increase, emotional regulation issues in terms of being able to express our feelings and
Yeah.
talk about what we're going through. And then like some people don't understand, and that's why I love educating people. There's some aspects of mental health that have biological components. So when you're
Mhm.
talking about bipolar disorder and things of that nature as well, some of those things could be a biologically based. Some of those things could be based off our environment in terms of where we live and where we grow up and things that we're dealing with on the outside. So some of the signs they just vary, and I think that it's really important for young adults to see where they're having difficulties in their functioning, whether it's on the workplace, whether that is in school or not. Even if you don't go to school, you
Yeah.
graduate, not sure what you're going to do. um, those are reasons to just pay attention a little bit more to those particular areas, because as soon as it starts to impact your functioning, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have a mental health disorder, but it's worth being able to explore a little bit more, especially if the intensity of it is increasing, the frequency in which you're having issues. Maybe you're arguing more, maybe you're isolating more, maybe you're not wanting to get out and talk to people, maybe you're having career and job issues. As soon as those things start to take place, those could be potentially signs that there could be something else going on. But it still requires a little bit more in-depth conversation and discussion. Typically, most importantly, usually with a professional
Absolutely.
therapist or counselor. Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that you touched on the different diagnoses, the common, according to the CDC, like some of the common mental health disorders, eating disorder.
Mhm.
You got, women and men, they don't want
Yes.
to, because of their body image. I
Mhm.
talked about that body dysmorphic disorder.
That's right.
Yeah, they don't like what they see, and so they stop eating. They stop doing a lot of things. Personality disorder. I know you said um, borderline personality
Mhm.
disorder. They also said mood disorder, major
Mhm.
depressive disorder, bipolar,
Yeah.
um, thought disorder,
Mhm.
schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder,
Yeah.
suicidal ideations. And I know for on hand working in a psych facility, just let everybody know that a lot of people that think they're in a long-term care facility or a nursing home that is just all for old people. No,
Mhm.
it is not. It's I have 18. You have 18-year-olds.
Oh yeah, you have young adults there too.
You got
Mhm.
young adults there, nowhere to go. They're homeless because the family can't identify, and they don't know what to do, especially in the
Mhm.
Black community. We kind of like sweep it under the rug. We really don't want to talk about those things, dealing with things that may be hereditary or
That's
drug
right.
induced, things
Mhm.
like that. And so I dealt with a lot of 18 to 35-year-olds with schizoaffective disorder, a lot of bipolar, a lot of suicidal ideations,
Mhm.
hallucinations, you name it. And I try to, educate people, but until you like work in it and you see it for yourself, you like,
Mhm.
yeah, for them to be this young, what were, and majority of them, like my family doesn't love me. Okay, why they don't love me?
Mhm.
Just different things, like just trying to cope. Either
Yes.
they've been molested, or they've been shunned away, or just a lot of things that, in my experiences where I came across people that that triggered, and then here they are, the chemical imbalance,
Yeah.
and so they have flights, they have suicidal ideations. how
Mhm.
can we help how can we help families, friends, how can we help them to embrace, and it's a thing, and I say it all the time, like, everybody like, oh, that's not normal. I'm like, but it right now it is normal. Like it
Mhm.
it happened. This is what this is. How can we
Mhm.
get through it? Right.
Yeah.
And I try to encourage, family members, like, you kind of like one slip away from, let something happen.
We
You
all
you
go through. We
you
all
gonna be
go.
right with them.
Yeah, we all go through things,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you can understand this line of word too. Like I really give people a level of grace because
Yeah.
remember a lot of times things that we've been through, and I know there's people on the call that's tuning in and tapping in, and I feel you, like I'm with you. A lot of times we didn't talk about things, and our parents and their parents didn't talk about things. So intergenerationally, we were sort of taught and conditioned that certain elements and certain topics and discussions we don't talk
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
We keep those things either between our family and don't talk about it outside of the family or outside of the home, or we don't talk about it at all. So right away, what happens is we carry this weight and we don't have anywhere for it to go, and we end up dealing with things in our childhood that we carry into a young adulthood that just sort of sit there, and because it just sits there, it festers and it builds up, because life doesn't stop because you experience something in young as a child.
Yeah.
We just keep piling on things, and because we don't have these safe places, safe healing spaces, self safe spaces where people can be vulnerable, especially young people. We end up taking on so much, and I know you mentioned suicide, and I want to make that clear too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that have suicidal thoughts and suicidal ideation, and they feel alone when they're going through those things, and they
Yeah.
carry that because in our society it's so stigmatized and there's so much shame around coming out and saying that you're having those types of thoughts, that people are like, I'm not going to tell anybody because I don't want anybody to think I'm crazy or something's wrong
Mhm.
with me. Or I don't want somebody to think I got to go to a hospital or this, because we put that stigma around it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong. We go to the hospital, right, Shakia, for physical health issues
Yeah.
with no problem. But our young adults, sometimes they don't feel like they can go to a hospital for mental health
Yeah.
concerns. And you brought up some great, some of the concerns or some of the diagnoses that we see. But I also want to bring up another one, which is grief and loss.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of times we don't talk about a young person that experiences grief at a young age. And I'm bringing this up because I had a great sort of conversation with some high school kids around grief. And they
Mm-hmm.
were sharing, they're like 18, 19, some of them a little bit older. And they were sharing how a lot of them never got over like the loss of a parent or a loved
Mm-hmm.
one. And it's like they never really learned how to heal from that, or even about the stages of grief. No one ever shared those things with them. So what you're doing on shows like this, and what I'm doing with Mental Hop, is trying to educate people and let them know it's okay. You don't have to be afraid, and we can learn together, and we can help you sort of go through this journey, because people fear what they don't understand, right? So
Yeah.
if we can help raise that level of understanding and sort of like shine a light on what's been hidden for so long in our communities and our culture, then we'll have more people feel courageous enough and brave enough to sort of come out and share that they're challenging or they're having challenges in certain areas. So that's the hope, at the end of
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. And it's powerful when you talk to these young people, right? And they open up like a book. Like I'm telling you, like
It's nothing
some of
like
the
it.
stuff is like I just asked one question. And that's what adults in it as well. And I'm
That's right.
like, I just asked one question.
Yeah.
And it definitely opened up a lot of avenues and streets,
Hmm.
that never been crossed or even,
Hmm.
exposed. And I think majority of the times and I'm glad that we have these type of spaces. We have Mental Hop, we got Social Work Sunday T, and everybody else that have a platform to talk about mental health. To it's okay. Like I know I get inbox. Like I didn't. I never thought about it this way or that way, or nobody never really talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about that because a lot of people are hurting. A
They
lot
are.
a lot of people are hurting,
Yeah,
and
they
they
are.
and they suffer in silence. And
Yep.
this is a time now, and dealing with COVID with our young adults,
Hmm.
not graduating,
Yep.
not everything is at a standstill. I said that before the live started. You know, it just play on the mental part, just like, oh my gosh, it's just entirely too much,
It's a
and
lot.
it's a lot. And
Hmm.
I think more so, like we said, creating these spaces to push, hey, it's okay to talk to a therapist. It's okay to talk to a mental health specialist because we need it. We need to really um be be in a space where we can be, you know, heard. I would say
Yeah.
heard and vulnerable. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, and before you even, it's nothing wrong with speaking to a therapist, a counselor, and obviously
Mhm.
as one, and I'm sure you too, you could relate to that. We're always trying to encourage people and let them know it's okay to do that. But even prior to that, even in our households, because I know it's people listening, and they might have young adults, and might have kids, or maybe they are a young adult, might be a young adult on the call. We need to be able to create safe, vulnerable spaces just in general, like in our
Yeah.
conversation. And that requires a level of trust, that requires a level of being courageous. It also requires a level of allowing yourself to be uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
Because nothing really grows outside. I mean, everything grows outside of our comfort zones. When we're in that comfortable space where we're like, nah, I got this. I'm gonna hold it down. I don't have to talk to anybody. Yeah, I'm going through something, but I don't want to burden anybody else. I don't want anybody to judge me in a certain way. What happens is we deny ourselves
Hmm.
the opportunity to heal. And I have a phrase that I love saying, which is, "You deserve to heal." And I
Hmm.
tell people that all the time, because I don't think a lot of times people believe they deserve that opportunity to resolve and
Hmm.
overcome the challenges that they've been through. So I tell young people that all the time, like, in spite of the things you've been through, you deserve to heal. Like a lot of times you signed things were signed up, or people signed you up for things that you never signed up for. Think
Mhm.
about a lot of young people. There were kids that were experiencing trauma, that were experiencing abuse, that were experiencing neglect, that didn't have safe um, environments or support systems to go to. And now it's almost like now, on top of experiencing that, now I'm going to burden myself with this pain and this
Mhm.
this anxiety, this depression, these suicidal thoughts because I feel like I'm alone and I don't have anything, I don't have any other options available to me. And that's just not true. And I just want people to know that, you could create safe spaces every day, in your homes. It just requires a little bit of courage. And for people that are creating those spaces, just be inviting, just
Mhm.
allow trusted openness to sort of take the lead so people feel comfortable and really off the bat say, I'm not going to judge you, and I'm not going to just, sometimes, Shakir, we accept that, we'll ask our brothers, or we'll ask young brothers or our young queens or our young ladies or our partners or whoever, how do you feel? And they say, well, I'm good, or
Yeah.
I'm okay. And we don't have a follow-up. So we
Mhm.
need to ask that follow-up question, like dig a
Yeah.
little bit more, because that okay sometimes is just, code for, I don't know if I can talk about certain things with you, or I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm comfortable. So
Yeah.
sometimes that follow-up question could be so much, and
Yeah. I
helps.
think more so it got to be a. I know everybody like, oh, the vibe, the energy, but no, it has to be there. Like I gotta feel, I can trust you with this because these are my thoughts, these are my feelings. If I can't trust you with it, I'm not. I'm gonna go somewhere. I'm gonna go somewhere I can figure it out. That I can be able to get that off of me. Um, but no, definitely, I agree with you on that. But no, like you said, the follow up. Someone said yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we need that follow-up. Yeah, and we
that's
didn't
some
even,
strong people.
another thing, Shakir, is the because we go through these things in young adults and have these experiences, and so often, like you said earlier, like we lose ourselves or we're trying to find ourselves.
Yeah,
And because we're not sure of who we are, sometimes we feel, sometimes there's a place, sometimes we try to fill in these voids or gaps with things or relationships or addiction and other components, because ultimately we want to feel whole, we want to feel good. I think that's the natural sort of tendency for most of us. Like we want peace, but sometimes in order to get peace, we think we got to go through, being toxic relationships because that other person will give me that peace. Or, we find it in addictions. And sometimes people think addictions is just substance abuse, but no, addictions can be sex, addictions can be
yeah,
pornography, addictions could be, shopping or anything else that we could get addicted to try
yeah.
to fill in the voids that we're struggling with because we want to feel whole. And we just want people to know that there's safe, healthy ways to cope at the end of the day that don't require you to break off pieces of yourself. What about, people's careers? Like
Yeah.
sometimes people just bury their young people, I'm gonna bury myself in school and just put my head down and focus on that. Because I
Yeah.
wanna avoid talking about what's really bothering me.
Yeah.
And we know sometimes that's not healthy as well. So there's a lot that we could do better as a society in terms of helping our young people in that regard.
Yeah. Someone has a question. What do you think about the toxic positivity that some people push? Like, hey,
Yeah.
depression is a choice.
Yeah, that we're in that space now in our society. Excellent question, Melanie. I think that toxic positivity is something that is inauthentic.
Mm,
I don't have a problem being positive, but I have a problem when people are positive in a sense where they're trying to avoid or not really deal with the real core issues that are going on. Because what we really want people to do is be honest and be
yeah.
truthful. And if we are super focused on like you got to be positive, just put yourself through it. I love that positive self talk, but don't get caught up in your resilience, because
Mm,
a lot of times we've been conditioned just to put our heads down and keep going. And we could be resilient to a fault sometimes,
yeah.
meaning we could take on a lot more because we've been conditioned that we got to be strong. And sometimes we got to be honest and truthful and say, I'm feeling overwhelmed, or I'm feeling like it's too much on my plate, or I'm feeling like I need support or I need help. And we gotta teach young people that it's okay to ask for help too. Because during that stage is really like you should be more independent, or this is really about the age where you're supposed to be independent. No, this is about the age where it's good to be independent, but you also learn that we are all in this together and you need people. We can't, condition our young people just to take on so much alone, because this when you tap into burnout and you see
Yeah.
kids experiencing, you see adults that are tapped out and burnt out. A
Yeah.
lot of those things happened in young adulthood, believe it or
Yeah.
not. So great question. So toxic positivity is real, especially I see it on social media for
Yeah.
sure. And I just want people to be honest about
Yeah.
how they feel at the end of the day.
I'll be listen, you ain't gonna they ain't gotta worry about me. I'm like, nope. I think and teach our kids to, young adults, our young adults to say no. Like that's a for real word. Like say no. You don't want
A
to do it,
complete it's
don't do it.
a complete sentence. Listen, I tell people this, not, and I forgot to tell the people that are listening. Mental hop is mental health education through hip hop culture. So what I do is I educate young people in adults as well in communities around mental health and education. I do it through the lens of hip hop, which is such a powerful, influential culture, and it lends itself to great discussion and discourse. Even if you like today's music or if you don't, it allows us to talk. But I did my dissertation when I got my doctorate on burnout, the self-care to mitigate burnout. And I was working in communities, disenfranchised neighborhoods, and working in education and chronic community violence. But I decided to do my dissertation on self-care because I was seeing adults and young adults burnt out already. They weren't even like, they just fresh out of high school and they were already like, I'm over it. Like I'm done. I had too much. And I was like, wow, like
Yeah.
we're not teaching our in our schools and in our society about the importance of what you just said.
Yeah.
Say no, setting healthy boundaries, asking for help if you need it, taking time off if you need it. In fact, what we do is teach, accumulate those sick days, hold into those sick days like is the last thing you have. Meanwhile, you are tapping out, burning out inside, and you need a day off, and you could get paid before your day off, but you've been taught and conditioned just to put
Yeah.
your head down and keep going. So that's something that I just want people and young people to know too. It's okay to take care of you. Make yourself the priority at the end of the day, because it's such a important sort of lesson to learn as you transition into becoming an adult, where a lot of our adults and organizations and jobs, they don't really support that. So if
Yeah.
you make sure that you take care of yourself and make yourself a priority, then you're going to be on the right track at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. It's got some comments going on. Right. You got to send in. I don't know which one of that was for, but Mel, I got you. Amazing tips. Okay. You are the expert. It's real out here. Come on, Dr. Williams.
It is real. It is real out here. It definitely
All right,
is.
cool. We need self development in schools. Yeah.
We definitely do.
Yeah.
Um,
Dr. Self Care. That's yeah.
Yeah, I'm a self-care doctor. Like it's really, I'll do everything in mental health in terms of hip hop and mental health. But if you follow me on IG or follow
Yeah.
me on any of my pages, I'm always talking about self-care. And I'm talking about real. This is important for young adults too. Like, and that's what mental health and wellness and healing is. It's really self-care, like really tuning into yourself and who you are, and really making yourself a priority. And the sad thing is, in our society, we've been conditioned to do everything but that.
Yeah.
So it's really like an unlearning that has to take place for
Yeah.
our young people. And there's hope at any stage, children, young adults to adulthood. I don't want anybody to think, well, if I don't get that help as a young adult, I'm just doomed in adulthood. That's not true at all. It's really about what we're doing today, which is having open conversations, having dialogue around it, and helping people sort of lower the wall, that defense mechanisms that we put up, and saying, you know what, the doctor goes through stuff, Shakia goes through things, we all go through things, and the more we can build each other up at the end of the day, it's going to be better for everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. But on your Instagram, you talk about healing. Like it be right on time. I
Yeah.
get up in the morning, all right, I say my prayers. I was like, all right, let me get on this Instagram real quick. And bam. Come on, Dr. S. What you doing?
Yeah, I don't want to do. I'm
Right?
telling you, Shakia, I can't do like I studied therapy and in the schools and the books and all that, but at the end of the day, my biggest sort of goal is to help people understand what healing is,
Yeah.
and like I said earlier, that they can access it and it's available to them, because again, we were never taught what healing even is, and B, whether it was even something that was available for us. So what we're doing is teaching kids and young adults early. And
Yeah.
I love the saying, if trauma can be passed down through generations, so can healing. So
Yeah.
now we pass the baton to the next generation, and they say, now these young adults know, wait a minute, I can go to a therapist and it's okay. Like, I'm a therapist. I'm sitting in my office right now. And when you come into my office, this is what I look like. Like, this is, we have to get our minds out of what
Yeah.
we thought therapy was and
Right.
demystify it for people and let them see, like, at the end of the day, this is available for all of us, especially our people in our communities. I want them to know that they deserve to heal, because we face challenges and issues on a daily basis that are unlike any other group of people in our society. So it's so
Absolutely.
important, to have these types of conversations for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Just being honest and open about it, because a lot of people like, no, I am not going to no therapy. Woo. I'm just like, you the main one, honey. Come on, get this
Yeah,
business.
yeah,
This,
but we've been taught, like,
yeah,
it's therapy
yeah,
traditionally. If you think about it, we have so much skepticism around healthcare in general, but
yeah,
and then mental health, for sure. So I get it. There's a level of grace I give to
yeah,
our people every single day, but it's our duty to. And I don't want to get into this notion, like, when you know better, you do better. I'd like when you know better, there's an opportunity to
yeah,
do better, because it still requires a level of regaining trust and vulnerability and being courageous, and
yeah,
those are all things that we can help people sort of develop, and educating them, and they can build those things up, so then they can feel comfortable enough or confident enough to say, I'm gonna make this call to Shaquille. I'm gonna make this call to Dr. S, and have my first session. But sometimes just making that call is a hard step for people. So
yeah,
again, it takes time, and we just got to support people along their journey until they get to that place of feeling like they could do it on their own. And sometimes we could do it together with them.
yeah, yeah. Because definitely it's a journey, and
Hmm.
everybody got a story. So it's like, okay, let me help you in this chapter of your book and your story. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So it's like, yeah, it's all about learning, well, unlearning to learn again. I
I
like how
love
you
that.
said that, yeah. But
Yep.
yeah, I always say that we're gonna unlearn to learn
Hmm.
again, So everybody
Hmm.
be laughing at me, but it's serious. Like even stuff like I was taught, it was like, oh, nah,
Hmm.
that don't. And some of
Hmm.
the things that even with my daughter, she's 13, she's almost
Hmm.
there to that young adult. She's
Hmm.
a teenager, and I'm just like, that don't work with her. Like, mom, no, no, that don't work. I can't.
Shakia, what? I'm going to tell you, like, I just want to bring this up real quick for anybody on the
Yeah,
call as well,
yeah,
if you allow me to. I've been doing these conversations with young men that are
mhm,
incarcerated, and they're in juvenile facilities here in New Jersey. And it's been like life changing for me. I've been doing this work for so long. And I'm gonna tell you, one of the conversations or the topics that came up that really stood out to me was this conversation around discipline.
mhm,
And a lot of them, obviously, they're sitting in these juvenile justice programs. And when I brought up this idea of discipline and how they got discipline, it brought tears to a lot of their eyes, because a lot of them were able to reflect and said they got discipline really tough. This idea of tough love, and borderline discipline is not supposed to be traumatic. And I think in a lot of our communities, our sometimes our parents would discipline us the way that they were taught.
Right.
And we have to, again, this is all unlearning, because I always hear like, oh, these young people, these young adults, they didn't get that, they ass whipped, or they didn't get this,
Yeah.
and they need this, and they need that, so to speak. And I'm like, but again, would that resolve the issue, the hurt, the pain,
Right.
would that impact what you believe? Because that's what you've been conditioned to believe, is that if we would discipline them in terms of corporal punishment or hitting them or doing that. But
Yeah.
disciplining wasn't supposed to be traumatic. There was never supposed to be trauma involved in discipline. So again, I give my people an element of grace, but there's a lot of unlearning that we have to do, because our young men were sharing that they if it worked, why are they still locked
Yeah.
up? So they couldn't compute.
Yeah.
And I love when we got to a place where a lot of them said, I'm gonna just talk to my daughter. If I have a child, I want to be able to have a conversation, because I think I never had that. Maybe that would have took me in a different direction. So again, I think it's all about unlearning and learning and exploring and having conversations. And I think people will find that, wow, like young
Yeah.
adults sometimes have been through difficult times that we thought, I think our intentions were good. We thought this was
Yeah.
going to work.
Yeah.
And because we thought that, it was taught that it worked with previous generations. But sometimes we need to evolve and try new things, and just be open to the idea of it. So I encourage people on the call too, just to sort of explore that a little bit more as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got some comments. He's telling the truth. I was okay. I went witnessed it in Chicago. Yeah. The word of the week, grace.
It's a
Yeah.
beautiful word. It's a beautiful word. I send that to everybody on the call, because none of us are perfect. And we're all, me included, we're all on this journey, and grace is something that we need. We need to forgive ourselves, and be patient with ourselves, and
Mhm.
hug ourselves on this journey that we're on, because we're just trying to find our way, and do better each day. And if that's the goal for people on the call, I'm with it. I'm with it as well.
Yeah. Well, the nurturing conversation. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. That was good. That's good. Good conversation. Um, where can everybody find you, Dr. S?
Yeah, I
Where
want
can-
everybody. First of all, Shaki, I love what you're doing with Sunday. I mean, I follow your work, and I
Thank you.
follow what you've been doing, and I encourage you to just keep going, because we need more spaces like this, for sure. I always tell people, like, just follow me on IG. It's an easy way to connect with me. Mental Hop. I put it in my name, MENTALHOP. I'm sure it's everything. You could follow Shakia and Sunday T, the social work Sunday T, to follow my links to my pages as well. And if they want anybody, I do things a little bit different. I'm the type of person who, if you hit me in the DM with a question around mental health education, not therapy, I do not do therapy on IG. I just want to tell people that.
Dope.
But if you have a question, I try my best to answer questions, or send people in the right direction. So,
Absolutely.
and I encourage people, just shoot me a DM and follow me on Instagram. And if you want to have me speak, if I can't plug real quick, Shakia,
Yeah,
people can have
go ahead.
me. People can follow me or check out what I do at drsconyerspeaks.com. Um, it's on my IG page as well, if you want to tap in and link with me to come out and do some community talks around mental health, and at schools and youth organizations, or just organizations in general. I'm open to it. I'm on board with it. Panel discussions like we're doing here. And I
Yeah.
want people, real quick, because I always forget to do this, I want people to go out and get my books. I've done a
Yeah.
couple of things.
Where they at? Where they
I'm
at?
gonna show you, because whenever I do panel discussions, and I've been on some pretty big panel discussions, and I always forget.
Come-
So last year I did something where Michelle Obama was the head speaker, and I was like on it talking about mental health, and I don't even think I plugged the book in there. So I want more people to be able to see it. So this is a
Absolutely.
book I wrote I wrote this in 2020, actually, during the midst of COVID and everything was going on. It's called Good Vibes with Dr. S. And I want people to, it's just some short passages, stories that people can read and help lift their spirits and encourage them and help them feel good. And this is the one I want people to get if they're trying, if they have a young adult and they're trying to introduce them to this world of mental health and
Oh,
wellness and
yeah,
healing.
look.
This is
Yeah.
called Good Mornings, Wake Up Calls for Life. This is the first book I wrote, and it's just that's what it is. It's a wake up call. It's like your daily at your hotel, you know, to get that call from the front desk. It's time to get up. This is your wake up call to help you start the day, helps your young person start the day. And you can read it any time of the day, but I love morning things. I love getting people's energy flowing. It's just short passages, reflective statements, and encouraging words. So just go get the book, both available on Amazon, and they can get those. And you know, and I made the price very affordable because I'm trying to reach young adults and adults who maybe they're not ready to go to therapy yet, but they want to get what is this mental health and wellness thing about? And these books are just easy reads for them to get that information. So thank you for allowing me to share
No
that.
problem.
And the podcast too, the Mental Health Podcast, they can listen to that. I'm plugging
Yes.
everything
Plug everything, because don't
this
forget.
this gonna be the biggest show. Period.
Yes.
This will be the biggest show that you have. So I want everybody to
Thank you.
tune
Yeah.
in, and I want this show to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yes.
And
We're going to do a seminar. You're going to have to come to Chicago, Dr. S.
I'm there. I've been waiting to go to Chicago. In fact, do you have people on the call in Chicago right
Yeah,
now?
they on there. Gang, gang. We up here.
Let me tell you this. The reason why I'm wearing my Knicks hat, because I know I got some support on here too, because we play the Chicago Bulls tonight, in which we will be taking that win. But I want people to know in
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Chicago of representing the Knicks tonight that we are in your city and we're on
Dr. S.
together on this social work tee. And the Knicks gonna get the win tonight against the Chicago Bulls. And you know,
Dr. S.
yeah, I hope I
We
didn't create any
love
enemies
y'all.
on the
Like,
call.
we've been
It's all
winning.
love. It's all love.
It is all love, but I'm just saying, Dr. S. I'm just saying, like, we finna get in there. Like, we finna.
You always talking trash to
You know.
It's okay. We good. Much love to Chicago. I haven't been, and you know,
Yeah.
it's a city that's dear and near and dear to my heart because doing so much in hip hop and the hip hop culture, I talk about your city so much. I love your city, even though I've never been there. I love the young people of your city. So if
Yeah.
anybody wants to if you're having any type of events or things like that, please
It's
let
in
me
the
know.
works.
I would be able to love to come out there and connect with y'all. You know,
Yeah, absolutely. We
that's what
we
it
gonna
is.
rock out. You know,
That's
I'm
what's
getting
up.
stuff in the. I'm like, hey, come on, bring the cousins. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Bring
yeah.
the
Let me
fam.
know. I'll come out there.
Yeah,
I definitely
yeah.
would
We,
love to
we
come out there
family
and
now.
connect with the people. We family now.
Yeah, we family now. Oh, prom. Look, September 2nd, 22. Well, it's gonna be before then. You got to come out before then. But
Yeah.
September 2nd, I'm having a fundraiser, a prom fundraiser.
Oh, that'd be cool.
For a
Yeah.
nonprofit organization here in Chicago. I gotta reach out to the nonprofit, but yeah, I'm definitely doing like I did last year. Well, this
Yeah.
year, last
Let
year,
me
but
know. Yeah. Anything I can do to support what you're doing or what the people of Chicago, anybody on the call that, you know,
yeah,
is just looking to have more conversations in spaces like this, or even be a guest on my podcast. I'm gonna relaunch at the top of the year. So I'm always looking to connect with people. I gotta have you on my show as well so we can have some conversations as well. So thank you to everybody that's on the call and
yeah.
tuning
Oh,
in and
you got
tapping
a
in.
mental health store? You got the store?
Oh yeah. I got the mental hop. Okay, so just say if you want some merch, I got
Merch.
mentalhop.com. It's
Okay.
mental-hop.com. Please go on there and support, you know, get the hoodies, the caps. I got empathy caps, hoodies, all
Okay.
types of things. And when you purchase from Mental Hop, what it allows me to do is I could do free mental hop symposiums for young people because sometimes, you know, like I want to remove the red tape that sometimes organizations like they can't afford the prices or whatever
Yeah.
they say, and I still want to have that event because you purchase those hoodies and those hats and those, you know, those shirts. It allows me to say, you know what, we're going to do this anyway. Plus, as Corey's saying, it's hoodie season. So this
Gang.
is a great gift holiday time. Go on mentalhealth.com, support Black business. Is me, all run by me. I own it, 100% of it. So I'm just happy to give people something again to connect them with wellness, healing, and mental health and hip hop at the end of the
Absolutely.
day. Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks for
absolutely.
reminding me of that.
Listen, they own it. It's hoodie season. Gang,
It's
gang.
hoodie
Yes.
season. Yeah, appreciate that.
Well, let me put some pluggers in though. I'm about to look.
Yeah, go ahead. You got to plug the tea at the end of the day. That's what it's about.
Listen, I got tea, I got mugs,
Mm-hmm.
Social Work Sunday Tea. Go to www.socialworksunnytea.com. You'll see all of that good merch. Got the tea, got the 5 flavors: heal, chill, fresh,
Mm-hmm.
sip, and chill. I think
I
I
love the
said,
names too. I love the names. I was checking out your site. I love the names. Make
yeah.
sure y'all support Sunday Social Work Tea. Pick up those teas. That's innovative. That's
Oh,
great.
and night
Um,
night. Yeah,
that's great.
yeah.
Good stuff. Mm-hmm.
Definitely, it helps support, as far as like the physical. We're doing the mental. The tea is for the physical. I got all natural herbs. Go to Jewtown, not
Mm-hmm.
Jewtown, Chinatown,
Mm-hmm.
here in Chicago, and get those herbs.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's pretty dope. Like my best ones, I guess, chill and heal. You got the elderberries, ginger root, all
That's
that good
great.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we incorporating the physical health with the mental health. They're all connected at the end of the day. So this is a great way to work on both these conversations at the same time, picking up some tea from you. So
absolutely.
good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely, definitely. Well, thank you so much, Dr. S. I really, really appreciate you getting on this platform, Social Work Sunday Tea. This won't be the last time, I'm be like, hey, Dr. S.
Yeah,
I
just
be
let me know.
all type of question. He think I'm crazy. I was like,
No. It's all good. It's all
no, no,
good.
no, it's cool. It's all good. All gravy. Like, you know,
Yeah, just let me know anything I can do to support and help. And I just want to let people know again that you deserve to heal. And if there's a young person that's going through any challenges,
yeah,
please get them the help. If you're not sure, don't be afraid to tap in with somebody and ask a mental health professional. Remember, if somebody's over the age of 18, they
yeah,
have to be, give consent for them to be able to go see somebody
yeah,
and talk to somebody. But again, sometimes it's just so they don't have to feel alone. So just holding their hand through that process and supporting them and encouraging them through that process is so important. But there's nothing wrong with therapy and there's nothing wrong with counseling, but
yeah,
as well we could create healthy healing spaces outside of professionals as well, and we need to make that like a regular part of what we provide to young people in general at the end of the day and young adults. So thank you
yeah.
so much again, Shakir, for having me, and thanks to everybody that's on the call, that's on the line. I appreciate y'all for real.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'll see you guys on. I won't do it next week because it's Thanksgiving. Gonna spend time with the family. That's Thursday, but give myself a break on Sunday. But December 5th, we're gonna have a special guest. We're gonna talk about taking care of your mental health during the holidays.
Great
So,
show. Good stuff.
everything revolving around mental health and taking care of ourselves. So,
Good
yeah.
stuff.
So I'll see you guys on December 5th. You guys have a great and productive Sunday. Thank you for tuning in. Love you guys. Bye.
Be safe, be well. Thank you again, Shakir.
No
Appreciate you.
problem.